Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It is evening here. So welcome to Facebook Live. It is the 12th of July, year 2023. I'm hoping everyone is doing well. Let's welcome the planet. Let's welcome the panel. We were talking about planets. That's the word that's sitting on the tip of my lips. So let's welcome our panel. Today we have April here. April is a psychic. She's done mediumship. She's done all kinds of therapies like hypnotherapy, massage therapy, Reiki, healing. So if anybody's interested in contacting April one-on-one, please feel free to message her on Messenger. Then we have Patricia here, who's part of our core group of meditators. Good evening, Patricia. We have Michelle here as well. Good evening, Michelle. She's part of a core group of meditators. And Rob here, who's part of our panel since he has published a book author, and so has become part of our panel as well. And then I see Hugh has returned. Good evening, Hugh. So I wanted to bring up a question you wanted to ask. Did you want to ask it yourself, Hugh, so that I can tag people? If you want to ask and April can respond.
Were you talking to me?
Yes, sir. You wanted to ask her a question, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Basically, what I wanted to ask the panel, April, you've said this before. Oh yeah, anxiety. That's real easy. You basically got that conquered. Well, let me tell you something. I thought I had it conquered too. You know, I mean, I've been working on it for a long time, actually. I mean, if I went into I can give you my whole spiel so you guys can understand, but I was sitting there looking at the dates like, wow, how long have I been dealing with this stuff, you know? But my anxiety started at 27. Okay, it was after partying on the beach, you know, got dehydrated. Next minute, July 4th, I'm suffering from hypothermia, you know what I mean? So I went through a traumatic thing there when I had to go to the ER with that, but that's when they started. And then I lived in like 8 years of thinking I was going nuts, you know, total isolation, all that stuff, to finally self-medicating with booze and whatnot. And then finally in 1997, I got on this antidepressant Zoloft, you know, and I stopped drinking. Well, my anxiety disappeared. So it was, I've been done with that, you know. So basically, fast forwarding, I got let's say with the group, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, I got to know what it's like not to be on these meds before I leave this earth, you know. So in January, I started weaning myself off of the medicine I've been on for 26 years. Okay. Did it on a spreadsheet, of course, you know, just the way I do things. So I made it down to my quarter dose, and then boom, I had to go in for emergency surgery a couple weeks ago. And I'll be honest with you, I was really fine, wasn't anxious. They said, look, you know, you go to the doctor's offices, you got to go tonight. You know, this is you're not gonna make it in the next couple of days, right? So for some reason, I thought, you know, no anxiety, it is what it is. I wasn't, you know, and this is all based on what I've learned with this group in Eckhart, you know, and I've been following you guys for over a year now. So that's what gave me the courage, strength to go ahead and get off the meds, to really find out what's if this is for real. Now, why I asked the question, if everybody's think they've conquered anxiety, because I was doing good. And when that CT scan come back, and it was even worse than what I was anticipating, you know, it was more stuff. I caught myself having anxiety. I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed off the fact that I'm starting to freak out, and then I was like, threw down the paper and just like started getting present. And but I was sort of upset that it came back, for a second. For now, I say second, for about a minute until I got my shit together, But again, I thought I had it conquered, and I don't know how you guys, when you say you're over it, do you have any kind of relapse? Relapse, or just to actually have it happen. Does it make sense?
So, the first thing is that, well, there's a couple things. One is that your original scenario was similar to the one you just went through. So your triggering event was death, or the fear of death. That's your triggering event. So when this health condition came back, it mirrored the original triggering event, right? And what that kind of indicates is that we all have to come to terms with death. We all have to come to terms with that. We're not at as Poonam was just talking about, our telomeres are capped and they're shorter, and we don't live forever. We eventually leave here and our soul goes back and merges back with source, and we can come back into a different form, a different body. So I would look into that original trauma. Usually when things resurface, it's because they have not fully been dealt with.
Okay. What triggered back when I told you, when I started having the anxiety, I hemorrhaged when I was, in first grade, real bad. It was like last rites, all that stuff. You can just, it stayed with me. I'm 61 now, and it's like I can remember everything like it was yesterday. Well, I started hemorrhaging again 2 weeks ago, but it didn't freak me out. I mean, what do you mean? My blood pressure went through the roof, but I was in control.
Yeah. So your body responded, but so it doesn't mean that we'll never have anxiety again either. Okay, because there's layers to our traumas. There are layers. So like I give this example before, I thought I had dealt with some of the traumas in my childhood, some of the traumas related to my brother. I thought I had dealt with all of those. And then when I wanted to start speaking like this, a new layer of all those traumas came, and I was like, what the heck? I thought I already dealt with all this BS. But it was a new layer. So again, it's like the onion. There'll be new layers to your traumas or your triggering events. So one thing is when they come up, it means that there's another layer, or it hasn't fully been dealt with. That's one thing. The other thing is, while we are spiritual, we're on a spiritual path, and I believe in miracles, and I believe in total healing. I believe in total remission. I do believe in those things. Sometimes we forget that even though we are spiritual, we're on this path, that we have a physical body. You have a human physical body. And I do think that there are many people who can surpass that, who can heal that, who can go to Joe Dispenza's workshops, who can become yogis, and you can move beyond that. But the physical body has to also be honored in the fact that you do have certain genetics, you do have certain things. So depression, anxiety, while it can be environmental, it can be situational, provoked by situations, most of the time it's actually genetic. It is actually genetic. Most of the time it is the chemicals and the wiring of your body. It does not mean you cannot meditate and become spiritual and do energy work, and perhaps it can be healed or surpassed. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that for many people, it's actually genetic, meaning your chemicals. Why do people get diabetes? Why do some get heart disease? Why do some get arthritis? Why do some have migraine? Yes, there is a spiritual reason for them, but they're also genetic. Okay. So I just want you to be aware of that. I have some people that I have worked with and worked with and worked with, and their body is wired, literally wired that way. And it is genetic. And they have to take medication. Does that mean they're not spiritual? Doesn't mean they're not spiritual. They need the medication because they're dealing with the physical body. So it would be like if you had heart disease and I said, well, because you're spiritual, quit taking it. What? No. So I just want you to be aware of that. Now, I am not somebody who normally is anxious. However, there has been times in my life where it pops up. It pops up, and anxiety is always about fear, and it's always about lack of control. Not having control over some outcome or some perceived threat. That's what anxiety is always about. Okay.
Fear of the
So the unknown, right? And usually it's a future threat because the future always holds that element of unknown. So there has been times where anxiety has come back for me, but you did it perfectly. You got mad, but that's okay. But it was brief. So it doesn't mean it will never happen again. It means the duration of it will be much shorter. You will be able to come back in line much quicker when you're doing this work. Okay, so yes, I've had anxiety pop up. I've had anger come up, but when I'm off center, I'm able to pull myself back to center. And again, it's usually things more of the shadow, the stuff that's hiding in the back. It is things that we have not fully dealt with, and it is the stories you're attaching to whatever events that produce fear or anger. Okay, so I think you did good because it didn't last very long. It's okay. You're human. We have emotions. That is a chemical response to a situation. It's not about whether you're ever going to get it again. It's about how fast can you put yourself back into alignment.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like I said, you had mentioned when you mentioned that. I guess I think I heard you say that a month ago. Anxiety not a problem. I got that covered. You know,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, you
I
just sound super ironclad about it, and I just wanted to, and I know Rob's been through it, and I was curious what he had to say about it because he's been through the ringer. But when you're
anxiety is something that I don't have, but I also watch my thoughts. I watch what I'm saying. I observe. What are you saying to yourself? What are you doing right now? What are you thinking right now? Where is your center off? So it
Well,
doesn't.
the ego was there trying to trick me, and I just wasn't paying attention to it. And
Right.
it's not a hard thing to do when you see it rise up and say, nope, I ain't going there. It's just, you're not doing it. So.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's that simple and that hard at the same time. Not
Yeah.
doing that, not going there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it is what it is. I mean, how many times it's as dumb as the lettering of that phrase is, it is what it is huge. Because if you choose to react to whatever, you don't have to, and that's sort of,
But usually when we do react, then we want to pay attention. Why am I reacting to this? What am I telling myself? What's the story that I have behind this? Is there something that I do need to still work through? So anxiety is not really my issue. I was able to, anger is the one that'll pop up with me every once in a while. It's anger. That's the one that will catch me. But anger, I'm taking something personally when anger pops up. I've taken something personally. I'm viewing it, I'm perceiving it in a light that's not in a line with, the universe is working for me, working with me.
Isn't that more like a disguised pain?
Anger is, they say anger is actually, there's two emotions, love and fear. So anger is actually, but it is actually pain. It can be fear of not being respected, or fear of being taken advantage of, or fear of, right? So they usually reassociate it with fear. But behind anger is usually some sort of pain. Yes. And loss of control as well. Anger is about control as well.
Cool.
I think you did good.
Thanks.
Incredible. Thank you so much, April. So grateful for your input as always. So what I would say is, I don't know if you want to try the medical medium protocol, but what April is saying, right, is what Anthony Williams says is genetically we would have been handed down metals, and especially in the industrial age, right, the past 2-3 generations have had a lot of metals put into their body. Like, even though I've never had alcohol, I don't think I have had anything that would have been addictive. But still, when I've been doing the heavy metal detox smoothie for 2 or 3 years, and I get, I can see on my skin, it comes out, like, because we are doing the cleanse, right? I can see on my skin, like, it started somewhere in the front, in my abdomen, then it went on my back. Now it's like right here on my shoulder. Thankfully, I always wear sleeves. I don't wear tank tops, so it's always covered. But they are metals in our body, and I have no anxiety. I've never had depression. What Anthony Williams says, that these are the signs of heavy metals in our body. So I don't know if you want to use that protocol and see if you want to bring in some healing just through matter, what Dr. Joe says, matter to matter. Now, Dr. Joe's principle is not doing matter to matter. It's more of energy to matter. He says, change the pattern in the field and that'll change matter, which you can work on that as well. But what I would say is, please, if you're willing to, it is tough. I mean, we're trying to get Francesca pulled into this protocol, and it is tough to be on this protocol. I don't know how Patricia did and changed on a dime.
I'm going to be going through radiation and chemo, so that's one of the reasons I came on tonight, because it's going to knock me on my ass for a while. So,
but will you be able to do some diet changes while you're doing the radiation and chemo?
Yeah, they say I might have to go in a feeding tube, but I don't know. That depends how I can handle it. Okay.
So after you're done with all that, let's talk about that too. But in the meantime, we try the healing stuff, try the meditation.
I am, you know, that when that guy was talking about breathing through the hand, I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
On that one,
you did try one of the meditations then.
Oh yeah,
Healing the body. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Grateful.
you.
So grateful.
Thank you. Really. And your skin, I want to tell you something. I've noticed about your skin about the past year, and everybody else here can attest to it. Isn't her skin shinier after a year? Have you noticed?
It's not a year, it's 2.5, almost 2.5. This October, it'll be the 3rd year.
Yeah.
But it's both the protocol and the meditations, right? I do Dr. Joe's meditations. I do 2 hours of I wake up at 4 in the morning and I do like an hour and a half, depending on if I want to work out, then I do just an hour, 15 minutes. If not, I'll do 2 hours of meditation. Like this morning, I did 2 hours of meditation.
That's
4 in the morning. So
that's
that magic is available to everyone. It's just 2 hours a day. Wake up at 4, do 2 hours of meditation, then your day is free. Just do whatever you want, and your day will be as calm as possible, no matter whether you're in traffic, no matter where you are, your day is just gonna float, just because that beingness comes through, And I've been doing meditation since 2018, like the 2 hours of meditation. It's been what, 6 years, right? So that's why. Thank you, though. I'm so grateful. Thank you for the compliment. So deeply humbled. One must do the work. Yes, Patricia said one must do the work. Rob, did you want to say something, add on? And you wanted to hear from you, so I wanted to bring you on. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Hugh, you look great. It's good to see you, and I'm glad you came through that surgery well.
When you messaged me, I was literally on the stretcher, and they were trying to make their mind up because I had to put this trade in live. They couldn't put me out, so it was pretty. What they're like, look, man, you're going to come off this bed, and you're just going to have to trust this. I mean, the bottom line is, you were just like right in the middle of the conversation. I said, look, all right, we're ready to go in now, Rob. I'll see you later. So, and they're coming out. They were expecting me. I told them to handcuff me to the stretcher. If whatever they had to do, they said no, we'll strap you down and all. But what they said was, when they told me, you're gonna think it's all over with, and we're gonna stick this thing down your throat, and right when you can't breathe and you can't handle it and you think it's all, you're gonna panic. And when I come out of that, coughing my ass off, it's so crazy, but. When I remember everything. So, and he said, oh yeah, he said, I'll turn the lights out and then they'll finish the rest of it. But what happened was, they were like 5 or 6 people were around me, and they said they've never seen anything like it. I said, what do you mean? I said, you didn't even move. And well, it wasn't one thing. He said, you didn't even budge. It was that we're just dumbfounded. And, I guess, I attribute it to all you guys, and as far as Eckhart and all this stuff, and just having the faith and I never really took people for their word or whatever, it's just like, you guys are the real deal, and then you inspire me as well with your book, it's just a really interesting way you have a way with words for sure. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I was just rambling.
No, that's great, Hugh. I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment. I do have a couple of thoughts about all of that. Everything that April said, I agree with 110%. I'll just put pretty much the same thing into my own words, which is that the body does have this habitual response mechanism. And sometimes, even though our mind is aware now and we're enlightened, or we're aware of the thoughts and we're aware of emotions, the body still is on its own little agenda. And in my case, I'd be walking down the beach and my palms would become sweaty and my body would freak out, and I would have to notice that and say, okay, this is just a body response, but I'm greater than this. I'm not the body. So I don't think there's any more work that needs to be done as far as being free from the ego. I think once we're aware that the body has and emotions have the capability to take us over and consume us, once we recognize that, then we begin that separation process. Like April was saying, over time, these things will happen less and less. And as in your case, you had 1 minute worth of anxious moments and they dissipated. So I don't think that, and I don't even think it matters whether we are at complete peace for the rest of our lives or anger and anxiety still pops up on occasion. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is recognizing who we truly are on the deepest level. And then April was talking about this too, just noticing that we're in this earth suit. and it kind of does its own thing sometimes. And we know that we're not tied to that. And you're there, Hugh. There's no more, in my eyes, there's no more work anyone ever has to do other than be aware. And once we're aware, then we have the next second to be aware, and then the next second to be aware. And so I can be aware right now, and I can be aware the next second. And it really doesn't matter what transpires in the body or the world around me. I always have this moment to be aligned with the one consciousness. And when fear and anxiety rise up, that's just the habitual response. When we get taken over, consumed by it, that's when we've believed the lie. That's when we've believed in we've gone unconscious, and we're fearing something that there is no reason to fear for, the fictitious monster under the child's bed kind of thing. And we bought into it hook, line, and sinker for that moment. And that's okay. That's fine. That's all part of the journey. I think there was a story about a Buddha that was up in the mountains for 8 years, and he came back down and something stirred him all up. And then he had to go back up into the mountains for another 8 years or something. I'm sure I screwed the story up, but anyway, so he finally comes back, and he's finally, he's gotten rid of all of that. And I think the Buddha even was in his most enlightened state even before he had to return to the woods. It's the knowledge. It's recognizing that we're human and we're not part of that. And I think that is the most beautiful moment ever. And anything else that happens for the rest of our lives after this is just part of the journey. But we are already in that moment of complete, for lack of better words, saved. I don't really like that word too much, but it's already done. The work is already done. You're already there. You're complete. You're whole. You have nothing left to do except experience this life and this journey while for the rest of the years that we get to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rob. So what I would say, Hugh, you're doing the right thing, because as Rob says, they may be a journey, but there is like a way to transcend whatever we are experiencing in the third dimensional world. Right. And that's why we do the meditation. We try to generate like the energy so that we are actually having mystical experiences. And that energy is what is going to bring in the healing into your body as well. Because all our life. So when you ask the question, are we going to experience anxiety at this moment? Yeah, it may look like we are very calm and centered. But we are not being attacked by a lion. Like right now, your situation is you got attacked by a lion. Are we going to scream our heads off when we get attacked by a lion, or just stand still in presence and say, welcome, lion, come here? We don't know, right? It's only when the situation happens is when we are going to know, are we going, how much ever somebody says, I will not be anxious anymore. Right? I have reached this state of enlightenment. We will not know until they have a lion attack them, or a situation that is an equivalent to a lion attack. Does that make sense? How are you going to know whether Poonam is going to be anxious or not? Right? I'm not being attacked by a lion. Right now, I can lie you in the face and say, oh, I'm going to be so calm, I'm going to be, and then you're going to think, well, I'm less than, Poonam is so calm. There's no comparison. It's like we respond to a situation. Our job is, like April said, right? Dr. Joe calls it the refractory period. When the stimulus comes and the response, yeah, we may feel agitated or anxiety. How fast you recovered from that is your measurement of your spiritual growth. That maybe last time that this happened, it took you 10 minutes to recover from that event, right? From that anxiety. But this time it took you 1 minute. Take it as a victory and just stay your course. stay your course of, okay, I'm gonna keep looking, what is the gratitude that I need to get from this event? What is the presence I need to give all my nurses and all my medical staff that attend to me? Like the way you look at them, the way you look at your
I had
nurse.
them in my bed. What are you talking about, man? Christ, they were like showing me the pictures of their family. We're talking about Eckerd. I'm telling them about, I'm just doing my job, man. You know?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what you're there for. So your purpose at that point in time is to allow you, even though you may be the one that has that horrible diagnosis, but your job is to give that presence. And the moment you make that moment successful, you have lived your purpose. You've lived your purpose, no matter what this diagnosis is, whether we are going to be here, Poonam is going to be here at the next breath or not. But the fact that I gave this panel a presence is done. My job is done. That is a successful present moment. So I just wanted to offer that to you. But you did great
Yeah.
from that. Okay, let me go to Michelle. Michelle, did you want to say something to you? Thank you.
Yeah, Hugh, I think you were a champion there. I mean, honestly, to go through something like that and to be able to just feel that anxiety and then let it go. I mean, and I totally agree with what April, Poonam, and Rob have had to say. I mean, we are here designed to have this human experience with all the emotions, right? And just to be able to go through life observing how we're responding with less reactivity is a win, and I don't even want to say it's a win. I mean, we live in duality, win and losses, but I think as long as we're seeing we're making strides to bring more peace into our own lives, right, in our own experiences, because I mean, I certainly experience anxiety. I mean, not on a daily basis, but when something happens. I mean, I remember when I first started here, Poonam, I don't know if you remember, I was coming off, like, my son had a huge epileptic seizure and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And I was like, I mean, I remember like calling 911 and I was frantic and I was seeing myself and I could not control the anxiety. It passed and I was fine that night when I knew he was okay. But I mean, and I had been working and I'd been studying Eckhart for years and years and years. But when it hits close to home like that, the body takes over, right? The body takes over and we witness it. And then we don't add injury to insult by, saying, well, I shouldn't have gotten fearful or I shouldn't have gotten anxious, because I think that just adds layers of guilt. So, well, why am I not able to control it better, right? It's like, allow for it, surrender to it, accept it. It's part of the human predicament, as Ram Dass would say. And that in itself, I think, is healing, right? Not having this heavy expectation that it's all going to just dissipate because we're on this path. It lessens, for sure it lessens, and then you recover quicker. And that for me is healing. And then give gratitude for that, because we're not stuck in the muck, right, of our own despair, and we'll be able to come out of it much more quickly. So you look fantastic, and I wish you all the best in your road to, healing and recovery. I mean, stay, centered and as much as you can, and
Yeah, they don't even
and
understand
use it
how-
as an experience.
I was
Say
talking.
again.
I was talking in 2 days. They couldn't understand that. I could talk in 2 days with a hole, without the voice box. And they're
I
just
remember my great uncle had a voice box, and he would have to put his finger over
right.
to
Yeah.
talk, right? And then it was kind of like
Yeah, but
mechanical voice.
I can talk without it. They said-
Amazing.
yeah, that's what they said.
So there's grace. You have to invite grace every day, because that is grace. So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
Grateful, Michelle. Thank you. You were saying something here?
Michelle, the house you're at, is that is that a log cabin?
Yeah, we moved. So we're in
Oh,
a log
yeah, man, I
cabin.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah, in the woods.
right?
Say again?
You just bought it?
Yeah, we've had it for a while. I'm gonna turn off the camera a minute. Joseph. Yeah, that's Joseph, but he's without a shirt, so you know.
Hello, Joseph. Good evening.
Okay.
It's cool looking. house.
So, um,
Can
What
I
is-
chime in for a second? Because it just occurred to me that I think about time and I think about all of us as one body of energy. And the best way to make a visual for this is a ruler, and there's 12 inches on a ruler. And if our day, yeah, I know we have 24 hours in a day, but I'm drawing a blank on a really good visual here. So if we imagined a ruler being our entire day, and we spend unconscious time, if we spend that entire 12-hour 12-notch ruler or 24 hours of our day, if we spend that unconscious, we're contributing negative energy. My point is, Hugh, if you were continued to be overtaken by fear and unconsciousness, when you get to the hospital, you could have just expressed that negative energy to this nurse and that nurse and this doctor, but instead you were spreading love and conscious, wonderful vibrations to the people around you. And I think that is the ultimate thing here that allows us to spread the light to the world, to be the light. You know, we use our own light to light the candle of another, and that's how that's done. And the less selfishly worried we are about ourselves, the more vibrationally loving we can be to the rest of the world. And it kind of helps everybody when we're more conscious and in a state of love. So that's the side effect from that. But I think that's actually the ultimate goal, is to just bring everybody into the love atmosphere.
Hey man, it is crazy as this sounds. The guy taking my blood, right? He came in, he's looking at me, and he's telling me he's from the hood. Of course, I guess everybody, I gotta know. I just go, right, where you from, what you doing, how are you doing this, you know? And they talk about open up. Well, this guy, by the time we got done talking, he was in tears with just gratitude, with just like what I shared with him. That makes so much sense. And I never saw that. And I mean, it was just like, he really, I mean, I was shocked on how overwhelmed he was with what I was sharing. And what I'm sharing is what we talk about. I'm not sharing nothing top secret, you know what I mean? And
but ultimately, you're sharing that vibration, that depth of true consciousness of who you really are. And you're being vulnerable and transparent about it. And other people they sense that. People that are not ready for it are going to put up their roadblocks and walk away. But people that are ready for it are going to open up to it. And that's what you were doing, that you were spreading that love.
yeah,
You're right. It's less about the verbiage, and it's more about who you truly are on the depths of your inner being.
thank you,
yeah,
Ram. You know, one of the things that Michelle said to you is that comparison can cause anxiety. Can cause guilt. And Carolyn May says, actually, what she says is guilt is just anxiety turned inward. That was like incredible. That guilt is just somebody who's anxious outwardly, they're just feeling guilt and turning it inward. Now that they cannot express anxiety outwardly, they're just turning it into guilt and manufacturing guilt for themselves. So that was one thing I thought about when Michelle talked about whatever she was saying. That's very, very, it's like a mind-blowing statement. The other part, you have to understand that for thousands of years, humans have practiced this flight, fright, freeze mode, right? Being, oh my God, what's going to come? Oh my God, what they're like doing that all the time. So to be anxious, like everyone is saying, right? April said it, Rob said it, Michelle said it. Our body, Dr. Joe says our body is the subconscious mind. The body will respond. That's why you were talking in the other situation. You may not be feeling anxious, but your blood pressure is showing you.
Oh.
The body is a subconscious mind. It is experiencing the anxiety, right? So, but that anxiety is just a memory. We fired and wired those neurons.
That's
So
that's
much.
exactly that's what I was struggling with in the hospital. When I would truly get worked up, it's okay. I'm calm. I'm breathing. You know, I'm doing whatever, and it is what it is. You know, whatever. But deep, 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 when they got to take it, and I'm 210 over 115. I'm rattled, man. I mean, let's face it, I am.
Yes.
You know?
I
And
mean,
there's
it may not be that like and this is where the ego comes in and says, oh, I need to be calm. This is the present moment. Eckhart talks about the present moment, but the body is going into that. No, this is time to be, there's a lion there. Get up and run. You get up and run. Right? It's getting prepared. It's creating that adrenaline and that anxiety.
it's the flight and fright response, the adrenaline.
Exactly. It's gathering the adrenaline to run because it's feeling scared, right? It's the scared. And as April said, the fear is, I'm going to die.
Do you know something?
Right.
I live next door to this colonel, and this is a funny story. Okay, I got an alarm system. I got sensors out front. I got cameras, the whole nine. Anyway, so I got an arsenal here of weapons, right? I'm a shooter guy. I'm no animal killer or nothing like that. I like my guns.
Where do you live now? Are you in Texas?
No, but I've bought
Those
a lot
are
of
people
guns
in
from
Texas that do that.
I've
That's
bought a lot
people.
of guns from Texas, baby.
You're from what part of Texas?
I'm just telling you, I bought a lot of guns from Texas, and they all think I'm Texan. It's funny. But anyways, so well, we all heard of Rambo, right? Well, I'm set up. If some dumbass decides to break in here, well, that's just the wrong house, right? So I'm convinced I'm Hambo. My last name's Hambrock. So I'm Hambo now. So I'm a real badass, right? So guess what happens? My alarms goes off. Ooh, woo, woo. It's going nuts. And I'm like, wow, shotgun around the corner, around the bed. Let's go ahead and do it, right? Nope. I come walking down in my underwear, scratching my head. What is going on? Phone's ringing, sirens going, ADT's on the phone. You have an intruder in your house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hello? Who is it? And I'm acting like I'm whacked out, you know? Turn your alarm off. Who is it? And I'm turning my, do you want us to call the police? Do you want us to call the police? And I'm like, no, there's someone in your garage. I'm in my garage. I was out to lunch, right? So finally I snapped out of it. I'm like, I'll call the police. And so I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So then I get it together, clear the house, and looked on. I didn't have cameras at the time, my neighbor did. And sure enough, there was someone breaking in the house, right? So took care of it. And I told the colonel how ridiculous I responded. And he explained to me about fright and flight. This is what you got me going. And he says, Hugh, you know, if we get into a battle, the first thing that happens, I can hit you with a knife on your arm and you won't even bleed. Because what happens is your body response, it all comes keeps it in the main arteries. It starts sucking in, but all your extremities are lacking the blood, including your brain. And he goes, that's what happened to you. So you went into a fright and flight thing. Your inner core your blood started running to your inner core. He said, when we do our raids in Afghanistan, he says, I'll have a 7-member team. And what we have to do when you get into that response and that happens, first thing you have to do is breathe. Force yourself to breathe. That's the first thing you do when something goes down, breathe. Because if you find out whenever we get into a battle or an accident, everybody holds their breath. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Because we all choke up, right? It's just a response. He says, before we made our raids, and he's the Rangers, they just go in and destroy everything. They don't save nothing. He says, we put our hands up, and I look down that line. I want everybody to put their hands up, because the last guy puts his hands up, we go in, because he's finally got his breathing under control. And I just thought that was really, really interesting. And I did look up, he was 100% right. All that can happen. So breathing has a lot to do with not only meditation, but just every day, even my blood pressure. I went in with high blood pressure before, and the doctor says, breathe with your diaphragm. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you're breathing like, because I'm uptight,
Mhm.
And I breathe with my diaphragm. Sure enough, it come right on down. All right. Next, Patricia.
Patricia is going to have a question.
First, I want to thank you for sharing all those amazing experiences with us.
I figured I'd catch up to you.
And you are miracles. So just keep at it. Yeah, look at you laughing and like nothing happened, telling stories. That in itself is amazing leap from, anxiety and just talking about it. So thank you. You're a gift. So thank you for starting to show up, not only listening to us, but, finally adding to the beauty of this group. Thank you. I don't know if I have anything.
What's happened to Ken? Remember, Ken was a big inspiration for me.
He went on his trips in the woods, and I think something lifted him, and he doesn't need us anymore.
Guess what? I got his number. I'm gonna have to give him a call. I talked to him once, and he was going around doing these AA meetings and stuff, and he was talking about he just enjoys going around to the AA meetings, and he says he's like he's doing everything backwards. He told me, whatever that meant,
Yeah, he's on a journey right now, so not sure, but
good guy.
Yeah, we do miss him. But he's not with us, so he's living his now, right, somewhere else.
Well, he mentioned his spiritual family, like we're a family here, As soon as he said that, it's like he disappeared, I don't know if you recall that, but a couple weeks later, it's like he just stopped coming. But he mentioned that one night that, he thinks about this group, and this what keeps him going. And believe it or not, it happened to me in the hospital. I'm thinking Punian. I call it the Punian group. You know what I mean? It's just in my mind. And it does. It really it gives me a I snap out of it. I see her shiny face. It's just like it's just crazy. It just keeps me grounded. I mean.
Yeah, Poonam is the glue. Definitely, she's the glue that keeps us. We all have our moments of freaking out and crying, me more than the others, but Poonam always puts me back together. But I'm open for it. So I also have to give myself a credit for showing up, which is a new
I think
for
he's
me.
doing the meetings. I think he is doing the meetings. I mean, Ken messages me maybe once a week.
How's he really?
And yeah, I think he is following his own path, and he is doing his own speaking in his own way.
Hey, speaking of your own way, April, how about that interview you did where the lady on there that was interviewing you made you think about, I was just in the audience, when we think about love, treat it like money. Remember she said that? Like if you're gonna love someone, just treat them like money. How would you treat your money? Remember? That was
Oh,
last month. I mean,
yeah, that was that Gemma? Was that Gemma that I was talking to?
she was interviewing
that's-
you. She sound foreign. She sound like she's from
It was Gemma, yeah. She just had this huge like epiphany during our like podcast. She had like this huge like eye-opening thing, like, oh, what if you treat money and love like, and but I have to tell you, there's an extremely interesting concept. I recently took a mini, I don't know, NLP. I don't know. It wasn't really a course. It was just kind of a, I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to call it. It was just like this person said, "Hey, do you want to learn this?" And I said, "Yes." And I came on. And one of the concepts that she introduced was, because most people want to know how to manifest, and they want to know, how to bring more money into their lives. And she said, what if money was like your relationship? What would you want from it? What is it offering you? Like if you wanted a relationship with a person, so pretend money is a person, and you would want what from that person? You would want communication, you would want honesty, you would want stability, dependability. And when she put it in that reference, like, pretend your money is a person and it's a relationship, what would you want from it? I was just like, oh my God, like, wow.
I was too.
Like it just puts it in this whole different dynamic
Yeah,
of,
like you respect
I
them.
do want stability from money, and I do want it to be dependable, and I do want to have fun with it.
And
And
you
I
want to
want to,
protect it, right?
yeah, it was a complete like mind shift. It was totally, it
Yeah.
was amazing. And then the other thing, so it said, then look at what you don't have. The girl's name was Tiffany Toombs. She's an NLP trainer person. And she said, so then run through your relationship with money, just like you would with a person. And what is it missing? What's it missing? Like if you had a relationship with somebody, do you have stability? Do you have open communication? You can rely on each other? However, you're not codependent. Like, and I just thought that was the most amazing eye-opening thing. So it's similar to what that Gemma said. Gemma was the one that is Real Talk, Real Women. It's about survivors of abuse, domestic violence.
Right. Right.
And she's from Sweden.
Sweden.
So
Right?
yeah, that was an interesting thing. And the other interesting concept about money was, she said that your nervous system, your body, your energy is basically set at whatever the highest amount has ever been in your bank account. Whatever that highest amount is, that's where your nervous system for your money, your energy for your money, and relationship with your money is set. And I thought about that for a minute and I was like, oh, we got problems. Gotta fix that one. And she said, if it gets too high, what happens? And this does happen. And I know we've totally switched the topic, Poonam, but she said, if it gets too high above where your threshold is set at, something breaks, or you've got to buy something, or somebody has to borrow, like something happens to bring that amount back down. So it was just super, super interesting now that you brought that whole topic up. So that's a training that I just did because, I'm always learning. So
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. So every once in a while I'll do podcasts and I'll put them on my group or my business page. I don't do them a whole lot, but they're still interesting. And if I can get the message of self-esteem, unconditional love out, I'm willing to do that. You hear my Theo crying again? He's gonna start crying again.
Why is he crying?
Theo, because he wants out and he's figured out that if he gets louder, I'll get up. Theo, come on. So anyways, we kind of got sidetracked, but I do wish, I wish you the very, very best, Hugh. And I have done this and I still really enjoy Rob's comment last week. And I worded it just a little differently just because, I don't know, it worked for me. But I've done this and it so works. Like going through my day and I'll take a shower and I'll be like, I have a shower. I have towels. I have soap. I have a floor. I have shoes. Now you can say thank you, thank you, thank you. But for me, it was like, I have this. And I am saying thank you in my own way. It's not like, oh, I have all these things.
You're
I'm
not,
saying-
you're acknowledging it, and that's through thanks.
Right. And that is so, it is so healing. It is so beneficial. Gratitude I found is the biggest healer. So that is another thing that when my grandson just went through the year of chemo, you know, we really were like, we're just going to say thank you. We're going to say thank you for everything. So
Wow.
it's a really good practice. And it works really well. It works really well for not only anxiety, it works for depression, it works for anger. It helps to reshift you back into center. It does all of that. It's a really good practice.
Grateful for that input, April. Thank you so much. Thank you, Patricia, for your comments as well. You don't even realize, Patricia, how much you actually affect the group with all your questions. I mean, it's commendable that you show up, and you've showed up. You know how many people have joined, just like you said, Ken joined, Ken left, right? But you show up week after week consistently. Like I have to show up anyway because I have to host the meeting. Right? But you show up as an attendee week after week, week after week, week after week for yourself. And then, but you don't even realize how many people you help. Summer sometimes says, oh, Patricia, she messages me, whatever you told Patricia, that worked for me in this scenario, or whatever you took, you know, when we are doing the responses, the core of the, like Eckhart says, right, the teacher and the taught makes the energy field. So if the taught does not ask the right question, the teacher will not give the response that is actually required, not for you, but it's required for somebody else at that moment in time. Like whatever we are talking about, you may be asking the question, but you don't know how many people are going to watch this video, and there'll be like 2 or 3 people that'll go, oh, I got this part of the video. I got this answer. From that part of the video, I got this answer, and from this part of the video. So I am like infinite gratitude that you're always, always here for us. You're always like part of the spiritual family. You show up. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. But I experience exactly the same thing. Many times, you know, when you guys talk to each other and answering questions and stuff, I pick, you know, certain things that I didn't even know that was, you know, a real question. So sometimes the question brings to something else. And April sounds like, oh, I got a topic, but maybe that was the topic that we needed to get to, you know. It's just, I love it. I love the interaction. That's incredible, that energy. But I also wanted to tell Hugh that what was very important to me, like a shift, is when April talked about soul's contract, because not only I was in a victim mode, but then after I was trying to get out of it, then I was still blaming, instead of blaming others, I started blaming myself. So like you said, I had an anxiety, why do I have it? I thought I was over it. For me, that's huge. It still exists because I said, I thought I would be more advanced at this point. I'm not doing it right. I have to like double up on things. I'm starting to putting myself down that I'm not doing a better job. And this coming through the back door. And when April talked about soul's contract, and she said that your soul chose this. You had a contract with this amount of people, and they're there to teach you a lesson. So instead of seeing people as villains in my life, or seeing myself as a victim, that empowered me so much, and it empowered me that I chose this. So there is a wisdom and knowing that I'm not a victim, and that there is a lesson in this for me. And this is exactly what needed to happen. Like Eckhart said, whatever the situation you are in the present moment is the situation you need for your consciousness to evolve. I mean, for you to reach that presence power. So that was incredible. That it dawned on me. It was like a big aha moment. But I think what helped me huge is also medical medium Anthony William, and also seeing his lives. And he always said, I know you can heal. I believe in you. And I heard this message. So he empowering each one of us to know our body and just follow certain things. So I cleaned myself from heavy metals. I continue doing it because every day we get more. And I think that allowed me to hear April's message, because my brain kind of like, there's some connections that happen that were not able to happen before, because heavy metals were stopping that energy to go from in between certain neurons to create that new horizon. So it kind of worked hand in hand with me. Meditations, the group. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. The one thing I wanted to say is that when April mentioned about the money, and when you exceed that money that's equivalent to your nervous system, then something will happen, and either your washer will break down, or dryer will break down, or something will happen, like you'll have a thunderstorm and your roof will get damaged or something, so that money will come back to the level, right? That reminded me, April, of Carolyn Myss. Actually, before I go to Carolyn Myss, then I was listening to the spiritual teacher talk about neuroplasticity, and she was saying that people who experience trauma, they think about the same emotional energy over and over again, right? And they're creating that groove, right? So they are almost like sabotaging themselves. That brought me to Carolyn Myss's archetype. In both cases, the saboteur, what we are feeding is the saboteur archetype. That, yeah, my finances are going up, but instead of experiencing gratitude or experiencing elevated emotions, like I'm humbled by the fact that I'm getting abundance or being in a state of gratitude, suddenly something that you're taking it as a victory, and that moment it comes back down, right? Bam, your saboteur will take over. The ego comes in, the saboteur. So we have to be very, very careful about feeding. I almost feel these archetypes are like wolves that you feed. Are you feeding the victim archetype? Are you feeding the saboteur archetype? Are we feeding the wounded child archetype? Are we feeding, and she said, everybody has the prostitute archetype. We all have these 4 archetypes. That's like default, we have it. And what I wanted to say to you is the thing that you will find and especially for a man that has lived his life so independently. So, and I'm in that situation, single mom. It's been like 2005, right? Now it's 2023, whatever, 14, 15 years single mom, lived in this country, no family, nothing, I've survived, right? So to get help from others, like you will be humbled to the position that sometimes your chemo will humble you. You'll be so weak that you won't be able to do things for yourself. You may not be able to cook for yourself. You may not be able to do things that you normally think that you would be able to do. You won't be able to do it. So at that, don't let the saboteur take over. No matter who it is, one thing I've learned in my life, my grandmother was taken care of by her maidservants all her, like all the living life that I know of my grandmother, and she passed away with her maidservant, like she was on bedridden, bed the same, she was pooping in that bed, too much information, everything, and this maidservant used to clean her up, give her a bath, everything, right? And she passed away that way. So it showed the 8-9-year-old me, she's passed away when I was 9-10 years old, that no matter what, somebody shows up in our life to help us. It don't have this thing, oh, why did my sister not show up? Why did my brother? A lot of people have that attachment. Oh, why did my daughter not show up? Or why did my son not show up? Or why did my relative not show up? Just take the help of whoever, whether this colonel comes and helps you, whether your neighbor comes and helps you, a friend comes and helps you, just humbly, that is the divine showing you a sign that it is there for you. For all the work that you have done, the divine is coming through this kernel and showing you that it's there for you. So humbly take it. Don't sabotage it and be in that mindset of, oh, my daughter didn't show up or whoever didn't show up. Like you want your whole family to come help you. Just take the help and get through this, and we'll help you as much as whenever you show up, whether you come to group meditation or you show up to, I'll keep messaging you. We'll be there for you. Keep doing the meditations. That's the ultimate. It's energy to energy. The more you raise your vibrational frequency, the more healing you bring into your body. You did the best meditation is guided imagery for feeling the body. That was the best meditation. You keep doing it 100 times. He says, do it 100 times, right? Keep doing it 100 times. And you would see how much healing you bring into your own body by yourself. Nobody doing anything to you. That's my message. Anything else anybody wants to say?
Yes, can I jump in for a second?
Sure, sure.
Just to back up, to go back to what Patricia was saying, you were talking about how, I think you said Poonam had said something, or somebody had said something, and it kind of freed you up in a way. And I think that is, I had a conversation with my daughter about these messages that come to us and through other people, and a light bulb goes off in our head and we kind of feel free. A little weight comes off the shoulder. It makes us feel a little bit better. And I think the real truth behind that is that, you know, we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. We can send a message. Anyone can send a message. They can send a message to me. I could send a message to you. It doesn't matter where it comes from, but ultimately we have to receive the message. And I think that we are just shrouded with limiting beliefs, and they block us. And when somebody says something that resonates with our heart, that we're ready for, it's penetrating the limiting belief. And so my belief on this, my thought on this, is that we don't really need the world or people or anything actually to free us. We just need to remove the limiting beliefs. We're all here to help each other. There's nothing wrong with that. April talked about, like, even need, you know, some of us need to be on antidepressants. I'm not saying any of these, there's anything wrong with help. What I am saying is that on our deepest level of who we truly are, we have those answers within us, but we blinded ourselves from them because of that shadow work that Carl Jung talks about, or this limiting belief, and we just can't see it. And when somebody comes to us and they say, this baggage does not belong to you. This emotional energy that you're carrying around, this dark energy doesn't belong to you. And you picked it up as a kid and you didn't know it. And then it's okay to put it down. It's like the body says, oh, you're right. I don't need that. But we didn't really ultimately need someone to tell us that. Someone just pointed the way and we drank the water, so to speak. And so my belief is that if everyone on the planet fell away, I could still find true peace within. I don't need it from a modality. I don't need it from another person. I just need to go to that place of center and peace and love. And the answers will come to me there.
You're partially right, Rob, partially. You're partially right. I
Explain.
still think that, and I feel that we need other people because when we are programmed in hypnosis from childhood and we have our programs, by the time we're 20, we don't even know their programs. We just run them automatically. And only person outside can point, like Poonam says, like, Patricia, this is still your victim mode. It's like, oh my God. In the meantime, I was still like into my whole world that I didn't know. I need someone from exterior, from outside of this. And you're right, because I will heal it. I'm already there. I have the knowing, but I still need that outside person to kind of take the curtain off. It's like, no, that's just a curtain. But if I'm from inside, I can't know that this is a curtain. So I will know that I have certain limiting beliefs because for me, they're part of who I am. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Yes, I follow you, and I agree. We do need each other on this surface level. I totally agree. We're here to support each other and love each other and help each other. Agreed. I just meant on that deepest level. I think we really do have all the answers we need on our deepest level.
Hugh, I think you're doing, thank you so much, Rob. Grateful for the input.
You're talking about another layer, Rob, right?
What's that? Another? Oh yeah, yeah. We all have. I have 3,000 more layers to get through, and who cares if I get through them or not? I'm going to be at peace anyway. If the keys to heaven are in this box right here, and all I got to do is take one, and I don't need an explanation. I don't have to figure it out. I can just take the key to heaven and be in peace. I'm going to do that. I'll ask questions later, and that's what I've been doing with my life.
Cool.
Hugh, wishing you a speedy recovery, perfect health and healing from all of us, many blessings, and I feel you'll recover. You'll recover.
Well, let's hope so. I get the
No hope, no hope. The intention should be, I will.
Okay.
There's no try. Yoda said, there's no try. There's just do, right? So your
And look,
focus.
You're already speaking. They said how it's a miracle you're talking because you imagine yourself talking to us. So now you manifested it. So imagine yourself doing all the things, cool things, you know, after.
And one step at a time, you know what I mean? It's the truth. You can't get yourself 20 steps down the road, you'll go nuts, you know? Like tomorrow, PET scan, next day, radiation, next day, you know what I mean? You just go one appointment. I got a spreadsheet, right on down, you know? That's the only future I got is a spreadsheet. That's it.
Perfect. Keeps you in the present moment, on the narrow razor's edge of the present moment. That's all you can do. You can do today and then tomorrow's PET scan.
Well, believe me, you guys keep me sane. You have for a long while, and it took me a while to come out to actually get on here and start talking. I watched in the shadows for a year and a half. So
get out of the spiritual closet.
yeah.
Metaphorically speaking, you were out of the closet, the spiritual
I'm
closet.
out of the closet, right?
Thank you. Grateful,
I
grateful.
I want to go back in for a while.
No, don't go back and stay out of the closet. Okay, with that, I think we should close since it's getting late for Patricia. Thank you, everyone. As Nadia says, thank you for choosing your divinity over your humanity and for showing up today. I know Summer and Louise and Christina were with us and Sri Lakshmi as well. So thank you. So grateful. Many blessings. Much love to everyone. Bye. Have a good night. Thank you.